What is going on, Corey Block Fantasy Football League team owners? I'm your host, Saint25. We are coming back to another power rankings here, man. Let's get right into the rankings. Coming in at number 12 with no movement from last week. Still no wins, 0-5. We got Lopez. There is no hope for Pez. It's a terrible look when your kicker is a top 3 points per game getter when in your starting lineup. From what I've been hearing around the league, you're expecting to get a player back of equivalent value to Stephon Diggs in a trade. You're in last place right now, so you need to accept the best package deal for Stephon Diggs. You're most likely not going to get a top 5 player back, but with the right trade scenario, you can get back 2 top 15, top 20 players, maybe something else, maybe even a top 10 player in there. But you're really in no position to think that you're going to get more. You're 0-5, and you're fighting to not be the loser of the consolation playoffs. Pez, no cap, trade Diggs for the best offer that you get. That's all I can tell you. Also, you suck. Coming in at number 11 with no movement from last week, sitting at an 0-5 record, we got SEKAYI. The same thing I said to Pez applies to you. Also, you have 2 running backs who put up a lot of points for you, but your wide receivers are putting up a combined 25 points per game when in your starting lineup. You think that others can't trade good, which may be true, but you're no better than them. Like, your goal is to not be last? That's terrible, and you're a Rudolph. Like, I really don't understand your trade logic. People are offering you players who are putting up more points than that one player. Just because they might not be a running back 1 or wide receiver 1 doesn't matter. This is why you 0-5 right now, because you don't understand it. A running back 2 or wide receiver 2 could be putting up more points than a running back 1 or wide receiver 1. But you don't understand that. That shit not getting through your head. Like, you probably not going to get back a top 5 player, so just take the best package deal. You might not want to, but you damn sure need to. Your team is so top heavy, you won't do anything until you balance your team out. Like, you're hurting yourself thinking that you're a better trader than everybody else, when in reality, you're not. You're 0-5, so clearly you're doing something wrong. Coming in at number 10 with no move from last week, coming in at a 1-4 record, we got NASIR. Congrats on your first win. You finally decided to break away from them non-winning ass niggas at the bottom. You can make a playoff push. I really do believe that. You still need something else just to get your team over the top, because you averaging around the league average, and that's not going to get you to the top. So go get yourself like a top wide receiver, and I think you'll be alright. Coming in at number 9 with no move from last week, also sitting at a 2-3 record, we have Isaiah. Man, I don't know what's good with you. Another sub 100 week. Like, if you keeping it a beam, you just Pez with 2 wins. Coming in at number 8, down 5 spots from last week, sitting at a 2-3 record, we have PAPE. You lost to a team with no wins. Let's talk about it. Your bench had a lot of zeros on it. If we were talking about money, that would be good. But we're talking about points here, so it's not good. Your team was looking like an injury report instead of a roster. Get your shit together and fix your team. Dick, Wright, and Josh down 1 spot this week to number 7. Sitting at a 3-2 record, we have Chris. You have yet to score over 131 points. You need someone that can get you 15 to 20 points a week. Looking at your team right now, your bench isn't great. You really got no running backs. You got 4 Packer players on your roster. Like, what are you doing right now? Make a trade and get yourself a scorer that can at least get you 15 points a week. Dick, Wright, and Josh up 1 spot this week to number 6. Coming in at 3-2 record, we have JAHMAR. You beat SEKAYI. He ain't got no wins. It ain't really a special win. Anybody could do it at this point. Him and Pez. You did struggle though. I ain't gonna lie, you did struggle, but you came out with a dub. So whoop-de-damn-do. Coming in at number 5, up 3 spots from last week. Sitting at a 3-2 record, we have DEVONTAE. Nah, last 2 weeks, DEVONTAE been kicking. Y'all peep? Nephew putting himself in a good position for success. 150 plus points these last 2 weeks. That's good. Most of y'all not doing that. He making the right moves right now with his team, so y'all better get on top of y'all's. Dick, Wright, and Josh up 1 spot this week to number 4. Coming in at a 4-1 record, we have RAQUAN. You really just got by this week. A win is a win though. I looked at your roster. You actually have no running backs on your team. You worried about your wide receiver matchups and not the fact that your running backs are below mid. That ain't a championship roster. You're gonna fall off soon if you relying on this roster. Dick, Wright, and Josh up 1 spot this week to number 3. Coming in at a 4-1 record, we have EMMET. You deserve to beat Isaiah. Now you deserve to lose this week. You was running your mouth how you was the best team. You was running your mouth about how you were the best team in the league. Alright, now show me why your team better than everybody else's. Coming in at number 2 with no move from last week, sitting at a 4-1 record also, we have Josh. The commissioner says see him in the chip. Coming in at number 1 with no move from last week, sitting at a 4-1 record also, we have Naeem. The commissioner is still number 1? Yes. Josh beat him though. That is correct. Josh also lost to RAQUAN. Should RAQUAN be number 1 then? No, that's not how any of this shit works. The commissioner's still leading the league in points by a comfortable amount. Like, he's tied first with 3 other teams in record, but we know those other teams will leave behind if we keep it in the beam. A team with a sub 100 week and putting up 100 also couldn't be number 1. I don't care if they beat the number 1 team, they couldn't be number 1. The commissioner's team is clearly better. Don't believe me? Go check the stats. Men lie, women lie, numbers don't.